Hey guys, Antonio here again with some more of the Lean Startup. Today we are going to talk about Chapter 4, which is titled Experiment. So normally we're going off of what we talked about in the last chapter, which was titled Learn. So check that video out if you haven't seen it yet. But basically companies will try a bunch of things and then they'll fail and realize like, oh, this is not what the customer wants. What the hell do we do? So the solution here is to begin with a very, very small, the smallest thing that you can do, a tiny simple product that answers one single question, right? And the reason why we're doing this is to prevent a lot of waste, a lot of time, a lot of resources that you spent on building this long, big product that you don't know anything, that you don't know that anyone actually wants. But at the same time, you're not sacrificing your vision by building something and then just changing it last second to whatever the customer wants, which a lot of times will make you go away from what your vision is. So how do we do this? You want to take your vision and break it down into its components. You want to know exactly what your vision is, what are the individual parts that you necessarily need for your vision to be true. Then you want these two things called a value hypothesis and a growth hypothesis. And a value hypothesis is basically saying that it just tests whether or not the thing that you are adding to the product will create value to the product or service that you're trying to do. Will customers like it more because of this extra value that you've added? If it's good, then the value hypothesis would be true and you would take it. If you're assuming that it's true, then the hypothesis turns to be true, then you would want to keep something, just because it's adding that extra value. The growth hypothesis, on the other hand, is will I get more customers because of this extra aspect that we have? So they kind of go hand in hand off of one each other. So once you have this tiny, simple product that is in line with your vision and is testing a growth hypothesis and a value hypothesis, you need to find early adopters. And these early adopters are going to be customers that who feel the absolute need for this product. Your ideal person that you need for something. If you're building something for basketball stars in the NBA, then you would want to get NBA players to figure it out, to test your hypotheses and play with your product. And the reason why you want to pick them is because they're more forgiving and they'll give you better feedback normally because they actually care about the product. So once you have that, this is the actual experiment, So now you have an experiment, and when you take that data back, if it turns out to be successful, that it adds value and adds growth, then the experiment now turns into a product. Now you have your first basic product. You can now build on it. Now that if it turns out to be successful, right, you now have a customer base. All the people that tried out the first time are your first customers. Now, so you'll be taking them with this product and keep adding onto it by finding more early adopters when you add more testing, and you keep iterating this process through the validated learning process. You keep experimenting, adding one more tiny simple thing that answers one question with these two hypotheses. And so now by the time you actually have a first product launch, you will be having so many customers, and it will be a good easy way for you to know what the customer wants and keep moving forward. So on the side here, I have these 4 questions that they want you to ask yourselves when you're going for something. Do the customers actually recognize the problem that you're trying to solve? Do they see it as a problem? Because sometimes you may see something as a problem that's not a problem to them. Would they actually buy a solution if it was around? Sometimes some things you wouldn't buy because it's really not that helpful or it's not really worth it. It doesn't add that much value to your life, so you really wouldn't want to buy it. Then if they're willing to buy it, would they be willing to buy it from you, as in your company? And then 4 is, can we build a solution that satisfies what they want and the problem? So keep those 4 questions in mind. Remember this process, and you will be going on your way to experimenting and starting great companies, guys. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you left me a thumbs up down low. It really helps out. Click subscribe if you want to follow along with more of this book or any other books that I'm doing. Also, I'm going to leave a link in the description down below to this book for you to purchase a copy on Amazon. And let me know how you like the new whiteboard setup. And I'm going to keep doing it for you guys. Have a great day, guys.